Hey everyone and welcome. Today, we're diving into a pretty wild idea about the energy that actually powers our consciousness. We're going to break down this concept called mind energy. You know, what it is, where it comes from, and what it's even for. Let's get right into it.
So, to kick things off, I want you to think about this question. We all think we spend about a third of our lives asleep, right? But how much of that time is what our source calls true sleep? We're talking about a sleep so deep that you literally wouldn't notice if someone was in your house. What do you think? A few hours? Maybe one?
The answer, according to this material, is just 23 minutes. Yeah, that's it. A super specific and frankly kind of shocking number. The rest of the time, the idea is we're either dreaming, which is described as a kind of telepathy, or we're just plain exhausted. So this one idea makes you wonder, right? If our minds are that active, even when we're supposed to be resting, then what in the world is the energy that's powering them?
Well, to understand this energy, we have to go all the way back to the very beginning. Not the beginning of your day, I mean the beginning of your life. Because birth, from this perspective, isn't just a biological thing, it's this huge metaphysical event where the core energy of your consciousness is literally forged.
So here's how it supposedly goes down, broken into 4 steps. The key idea here is that your soul only links up with your body after you're physically separate from your mother, and that collision of the non-material soul with the physical body is said to create this massive metaphysical spark. It's from that one single powerful moment that your core mind energy is created. Our source actually calls this moment the absolute key to a successful human reincarnation.
Okay, so this spark creates something real, at least on a metaphysical level. But what is it exactly? Well, the source gives it a very specific name and even a number.
And that number is 6006. Now, according to this framework, this isn't just some random number they pulled out of a hat. No, this is the exact number of pieces that make up the fundamental architecture of your consciousness. It's the very thing that, in this view, defines you as a human.
So let's be super clear here. Mind energy isn't some fuzzy, vague concept. It's a system made up of 6,006 individual metaphysical files. Honestly, the best way to think about it is like a spiritual operating system. You know, the Windows or Mac OS for your soul. And this system is supposedly the one thing that separates human consciousness from every other being in the universe. It's the unique software we're all running.
Okay, so we have this spiritual operating system with 6,006 files. That's cool, but how does it actually work in our day-to-day lives? Well, it's basically a two-way filter. It processes everything coming in and everything going out.
First up, let's look at the input. Every single thing you see, hear, or perceive in any way doesn't just go straight to your soul. Nope. Instead, it gets filtered and analyzed first by this network of 6,006 files. They're kind of like translators, making sense of the outside world for your inner self.
And as you'd probably guess, it works in reverse too. When you want to express something, a thought, an idea, a feeling, it starts in your soul. But before it becomes a word you actually say, it passes back through those same 6,006 files. They basically analyze and package your intention, getting it ready to be sent out into the world.
So, this entire super intricate system, the spark of birth, the 6,006 file operating system, it's all pointed at producing one single, incredibly powerful product. This is a massive, central claim from our source material. Everything else we do, everything we build or create, that's all secondary. Our real, unique, and ultimate output is our speech. The words we choose and say are the final result of this entire metaphysical process.
And the implications of this idea are just huge. When you speak, your words don't just go to the person you're talking to. The claim is that they are broadcast on 6,006 different frequencies at the same time, one for each file of your mind energy. And get this, they are supposedly recorded permanently into the fabric of nature itself. This means the quality, or what's called the mass, of your words is what determines your actual impact on the world. And that's a power, a privilege, that's described as being totally unique to us humans.
So we've seen how this energy gets created at birth and how it works during our lives. But what about the end of the line? How does this whole journey wrap up? Let's take a look at what supposedly happens to this whole system when a life ends.
From this perspective, death isn't just your body failing. It is the exact moment that those 6,006 files of mind energy disconnect from your physical body. Their job is over, the operating system shuts down, and every one of those energy particles just disperses back into nature. It goes back to where it came from. That separation is the definition of death in this framework.
Which brings us to one final, really big question to chew on.
If any of this is true, if every single word you speak is our only real product, and if it's all being permanently recorded in nature, what kind of legacy are you creating with your words? What's the quality, the mass, the impact of the words you're leaving behind? It's a pretty powerful thing to think about. Thanks for joining me for this one.